Cool. Thanks everyone for joining the inaugural 2022 OpenJS Foundation Cross Project Council meeting. Just grabbing the link here from the video. I'll also say in the chat here, hi friends. Cool. Great. That's not, somebody put the Zoom in there?
No, the meeting docs minutes, is that the same document I'm working on? It is.
Yeah.
I might have put the wrong link in there. I thought I'd cut the.
That's all right.
That's okay. I'll close out mine because I'm going to add notes. Cool.
Cool. Are there any announcements?
There are announcements.
Great.
Yes, OpenJS World still moving forward. Of course, you know, we're always checking with conditions. The Linux Foundation also consults with a epidemiologist to give advice as well, and we'll keep all that data updated. But we've updated our website with some of our confirmed featured speakers to date, so that's pretty exciting. Registrations are open, so if you would like to buy a ticket, we have for in-person and virtual. Virtual is free. Sponsorship, there's a link for sponsorships as well. I've been sending lots of folks emails, and I know many of you are working on it, but I'll be following up. And what else? Collab Summit for all of our projects. That's going to be the last 2 days of the week. So if you think about June 6th through 10th, so we'll be following up with projects on how they would like to shape their experience for Collab Summits. And I know our event team would like to have some space requirements sort of nailed down in the next month or so.
Okay.
And then the next thing is CFPs will open next week. So we'll do a big communication blast about that.
Great.
Just another couple of things. Just from a Linux Foundation perspective, the Open Source Security Foundation, OpenSSF, announced a great MFA project, that's multi-factor authentication, where they handed out free tokens for projects. So go check out the great MFA project. I know they provided free tokens to AMP, Electron, Node.js, and Webpack, as long as many more. So if that's something your project's interested in, there's a blog on the OpenSSF site. It links to GitHub, and then there's instructions on how to take advantage of that. And you may have saw an article in Bloomberg. There is a White House meeting next week with the tech industry on security, and the Linux Foundation will be participating in that as well. So we'll report back. So 2022, the year of open source security.
There we go.
There we go.
Great. Great.
Those are anyone else have any announcements?
No, I don't. I can't think of any.
Okay.
Cool. I guess I sort of have an announcement, but maybe it doesn't matter because they're not here. But I think that we have a new CPC member that I'm supposed to welcome. And it happened a while ago, but now I'm not seeing it. Is it still, is the issue still open? No, I thought it was a PR, of course. So I will say it now, but we should do it when Mike Samuel is actually on the call, but Mike Samuel is now a regular CPC member.
Yay,
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else anyone wants to share before we move on? If not, I'll ask, is there anything board related?
I don't think there's any updates this week.
All right. What is this? All right, cool. So if I jump into the agenda, the first thing that we have here is issue 815. This is license check support tooling. Michael, you opened this issue around November 26th. Do you want to share what's going on here?
Yeah, I think we discussed it. We did discuss that in one of the previous meetings. I think the action was that somebody from the foundation was going to come up, like provide some info on stuff that the Linux Foundation has or does along those lines.
Yeah, I have an update from Brian. He couldn't be here today, but he let me know that the LFX tool, we don't have anything quite in place just yet, although I think it's on the roadmap. There's other tools I think that you're all familiar with, which is the FOSSA tool, the Fossology, which is free. And
Sorry, what are those tools?
FOSSA, FOSSA. And
Right,
there's
is that
Fossology. Yeah, but I think some people had maybe some thoughts on that. But I think the guidance I'm sort of hearing is that there's really not like a silver bullet, and there are some sort of low power tools that help, and some are free for open source. Some of the sort of paid tools that you may, have been familiar with in the past, we don't have subscriptions for it currently, but I think that the general gist of it is that, yeah, use maybe some of those low power tools, but don't put all your eggs in one basket, because it's hard to trust a lot of those sort of low power tools.
So sorry, I'm still not clear what those low power tools are. Like in this case, I was really just asking for something simple. You could point at an org and say, do all my repos have licenses or not? And are they ones that, like we've said, are okay, right? Because we've got a policy that says this is what you should have.
And if you're scanning, we're talking about the scanning tools, right? And Fossology is the one. But Chris Hiller, I think, has experience with that. So we may want to bring Chris in and get some of his feedback from the experience he has.
I don't know if those tools do the same thing that Michael, are you asking for all of your repos, or are you asking for your dependencies?
I'm just asking about the repos, right? Like we've got a bunch of repos in our org, and we've got a list of acceptable licenses as per foundation policy. And we create, like, especially in the node org, we create lots of new repos. We transfer repos in. So it's just too easy, I think, that we're going to miss one and it won't have a license, or maybe it has a license that we don't think is on our list.
Yeah. And Fossology and FOSSA both do like basically your dependency tree and the licenses of that. So those don't really do what Michael's asking.
Yeah, that's not what I'm looking for at all. It's more the point it at your org and say, hey, is my org compliant with what the foundation has said we should be doing from the top level? Like if it's using dependencies, that's kind of a different thing, but those dependencies aren't in the repo. So that may be perfectly okay.
Okay.
That's something we can just write a GitHub action for.
I don't know if like an action can go across your org and look at all the things. Quite possible. Like,
I mean, you could, but what you'd want to do is set it up as like a cron job on the .github repo of your org, because the whole point is you don't want to have to touch individual repos.
Right. Exactly.
Set things up, and GitHub Actions is primed for that. You certainly could make a GitHub action in the .github that did that, and such a thing would probably be a useful tool for everyone, not just ourselves.
And then we would want to understand permissions, on doing that.
Well, but no permissions would be required, since
we have permissions, but we do have permissions. Brian has permissions for every repo, but we still, for common courtesy, would want to have.
No, but
right, but what I'm saying is all these repos are public, and their license status is thus public. So no permission or even courtesy is required, because it's not it's not disrupting them in any way. It's just creating a dashboard or a report of some kind for a given org that tells you, like, based on some config, which, a list of approved licenses, which repos don't have that one of those licenses, right? And you could have it file an issue or update an issue or whatever, makes sense. And so the courtesy part would be, you certainly wouldn't want to like automatically send a PR or file an issue on each project.
Right.
But the other thing is, by putting it in the .github repo, you're also only confining it to your own organization's repos, which means there wouldn't be a single place to put it for all of the OpenJS Foundation projects. You know, you could configure it that way, but like you would sort of, like NVM has its own GitHub org. I'd put one there and it would, you know, I'd use the action there and then it would tell me, right? If you wanted to do something that covered all OpenJS Foundation projects, you also wouldn't need permissions or courtesy, I think. But like it would be a different configuration because you'd have to supply that list of repos.
Sarah?
Something that we want, like, is this an audit or is this a is this something that we would want as a permanent part of the GitHub org? Like, is this a CI/CD thing or an audit?
My ask was from as a maintainer of a project with lots of repos, it'd be nice to have an easy way to tell if there's any that we, you know, don't have a license to chase down on, right? And, you know, I could see we have some other requirements like, you know, having, you know, links to the code of conduct, to, you know, that stuff. That could be an extension, but the starting point of a license makes sense. And so I just want to say it, like, from my perspective, it was just like, as a maintainer, I would like that. Separately, I think it's worth us as a group saying, if we have this requirement, maybe we should have an audit periodically, right?
So Michael, not to plug my own stuff, I worked with the MLH Fellowship last fall and we made a tool called Repo-Report. It's on NPM. Yeah. It is designed for me, and it scans every repo that I have access to on all of GitHub, and for, you know, or where I, as the user, right, who provides the GitHub token. Major League Hacking is MLH. Yeah, it's a fellowship program, and it sort of gives you a dashboard in your terminal of metrics across the repo, so I can like sync my branch protections and things like that. An easy metric to add would be, does it have a license file and which licenses are in it? So I'd be more than happy to add that if that would be a useful tool. That doesn't help it work as like an enforcement. That would be some sort of integration with CI, but
right,
that actually might work well across, because then it doesn't care. It's like my personal workflow never is confined to a single user or a single org. It's spread across everything. And so I built it for that. So if that would help, I'd be more than happy to work with you offline on that.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to add that in. And I opened it in this repo in terms of, it seems like something useful across projects and even across like foundation. So just got me thinking, like, how do we start to get the infrastructure that's needed across the foundations be something that's provided by the foundations versus having to be reinvented every time, or by the Linux Foundation umbrella be provided, so that, you know, every foundation doesn't have to reinvent it, or every project. But yeah, no, if you got something to start with, that's a great, you know.
Yeah. And Jordan, we should, you know, again, we can loop in Shubra, and if this helps speed things along or something that he can just build from, that would be great. Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Cool. That looks like a cool tool. I'll have to play with it.
Awesome.
Great. So what do we can I don't know, if Michael, if you want to summarize something for the issue itself. So next time we come around, we kind of you know, it's captured in the issue itself. That would be great.
Sure, I will just put take what we had in the notes and put it there pretty much.
Perfect. All right. I will move along then. The next item on the agenda is pull request 804, track issues outside of dates and reminders, which I think we kind of should sort of review this whole conversation again. And I don't know why we don't, maybe we haven't merged this just because we should talk more about it. I'm not sure. But I think, you know, the reason why we created this document was a sort of stopgap measure to help us to check on dates that come up, which oftentimes surprise us, like voting term ending and stuff like that. And the thing that was taken out was the check on progress of building stronger ties between at-large maintainers and their CPC rep, which is funny. I want to check on that too. So yeah, I don't know what to do with this. We can certainly just merge this PR. But I think coming back to this sort of, what do we do about dates and things that we want to, not let slip through the cracks is maybe something we should discuss further. Any thoughts?
We do have a dates and reminders file that you created last year that, looking through it now, we do have February 28th Director 1 election happening. There is no date on the CBC chair election. And the 31st, if this is just like a heads up of like, we want to make sure we're on top of things. Oh yeah, that's what this is for. Yeah.
No worries. No worries. Yeah. I mean, it's good that, because I forget that this is here, we should add this into maybe the agenda, just as a reminder for us to peek at this file every other week.
Yeah, I would just add it to the agenda as a, if it's there and it's the end of the quarter, it'll be a reminder to look. Otherwise, it's probably a simple way to.
Tierney, can you put the link where that is?
It's just in the CPC repo. Yeah.
It's actually, this PR is an update to that file.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Labels. Okay, so I'm just kind of trying to grog. It looks like Toby reopened issue 761, which was the one that he was pulling out of that dates and reminders file. I just feel like things are going to get lost. So I don't know. I'm hesitant to merge in this PR. But
I think it was that maybe he pulled some things out because he meant them to be quarterly, and this thing just changes them to be quarterly. Like once this lands, we need to have that. I mean, we need to look at this periodically. Hopefully that'll, if we forget looking at it for like the elections and all that, we'll also miss the CPC ones. But if we remember that, we'll remember this one. I would just say if you added to the agenda for this CPC meeting, a check the dates and reminders.
Mhm.
yeah.
We should just land this and we'd be good. We'd be better than we were anyway.
Okay. So
Right?
I'm going
that's a
to,
good thing.
yeah, I'm going to merge this PR. And then we should create a new issue to add the dates and reminders to the meeting template. How's that sound? Open a blank issue, add dates and reminders to bi-weekly CPC meeting template. Smile to template. And I will assign it to myself and create the issue, and I'll try to get that done. I'm going to put the agenda label on it too, just so if I forget, it doesn't totally drop off my radar.
761, which is a good one, was sort of buried under that PR. Is that what we're?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we should keep that. We should extract that, or I don't know how we would.
Yeah, that's kind of the question that I have is 761 has a quarterly review label, but if nobody reviews quarterly review label regularly, I don't know, then it sort of slips through the cracks.
Yeah.
So, but.
Right, there's already two things that are tagged with that.
I'm going to, I'm just going to ping Toby about this particular issue, 761. He and I can talk about it a bit, and then we'll just go from there.
Yeah. We do need a little bit better process to check with the projects. I know Alex is new, so she'd like to get ahead of some of the, project milestone news. We have the event coming up, and just general two-way sharing, of information. We just need to figure out the best way to do that. So.
Sounds good. Yeah, well, I have a meeting with Alex tomorrow. We'll start working on some of that.
Great.
All right, where am I? What am I doing? So moving on. The next item on the agenda is clarify requirements around COC violation. This is opened August 3rd by Toby. Currently, there are no requirements beyond adopting the foundation COC for projects. Seems we would need additional requirements for projects. There's a lot of comments here, as well as a list of next steps.
I believe we were going to have a working session. I've done the audit. I believe the action item was we would have some language to put in for some folks, because some people just will drop a link. There's a few without any information. So I think we just need to provide some language, just like we provide footers and things like that. But we probably need a little preamble to explain why. So.
Okay. Which is perhaps a good segue. Oh, look, Mike Samuel's joining. He missed this big announcement. Welcome, Mike. How are you? Happy New Year.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Mike. We had the welcome announcement for your CPC.
Oh, CPC people. Sorry, I'm late. I'm kind of in the middle of moving between New Jersey and Colorado. So, yeah.
No worries.
Very
Congratulations on escaping New Jersey. Sorry.
No, I was hoping it was the other way. Where are you going?
Yeah, going to Colorado from New Jersey. I love New Jersey, but kind of family.
Yeah, cool. I grew up on Long Island, so I feel like I'm allowed to make fun of New Jersey because we're kind of
unique. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got the immunity idol.
Cool. Well, welcome, and welcome joining CPC as well. I'll reiterate that. So Robin, you mentioned a working session. I'll mention that there's no calendar entries for the working sessions. So I was going to recreate those soon this week. I'll just follow the same pattern as last time, assuming that we want to just, have them on the calendar and we can cancel if we don't do anything. But maybe this would be a good thing to do on the next working session. Kind of explore this particular issue, which I will copy and paste into the chat for Mike or anyone else. There we go.
Yeah, it would be good in one of the upcoming working sessions to look at the stuff that Jory and I worked on in terms of the technical strategy. We have a bunch of stuff in that private repo, and it'd be nice to get that into get enough consensus that we're comfortable making that repo public, and then we can have more public discussion and maybe more people even contribute to moving it forward.
So in terms of mapping out the next working session, should we do that one first and then the CLC one second, or what are people's thoughts?
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
They made so much progress. It's great. Let's just.
Yeah, let's keep that moving forward. I'm going to just in the notes here, next working session, tech strategy, work review, goal of making repo public. Session after that, work on COC. Which will be work on clarify requirements around COC violation.
I'm typing now.
Okay. Great. So I will take these two working sessions and maybe add them to whatever issue we were using to track the schedule, or maybe we need a new one for 2022. Nope, Jory already made one. Of course she did. She has the January 11th working meeting as repo cleanup. Michael, do you think that that is the same thing that you're talking about, or is that something different?
That would be something different. I think that would be looking at our repos, and we were talking about moving things around, right? And getting rid of some repos, consolidating that kind of stuff.
Should we do that next, or should we push that off a couple of meetings and work on these other two items first?
I wouldn't mind getting the technical one sooner than later, just to see if if we can get enough consensus to make that public, and then do the repo cleanup like the next one would be my vote.
Could we just do a little cleanup every other week and just use the last 10 minutes of any, if we have any 10 minutes left over, to do a little at a time? Or would you rather just dive in and reshape it?
I just don't know if there's any strategy to the cleanup.
That's true. No wireframe.
Okay, so I'll just move the repo cleanup to the 25th, push it off, do the tech strategy one for the 11th. And then the COC one, the one after that. Okay. So that is captured in this issue, just for everyone if they want to know. And let me make sure that is a pinned issue as well, so we can always get to that easily. Great. All right, cool. So we touched on that agenda item, but also touched on the working session stuff. The last item on the agenda is the create proposals for the community fund, which is sort of something new now in a way for 2022, right? We should be working on that.
Yeah.
Which maybe we should, maybe I should throw in another working session for that.
Yeah, we will, we'll need some more clarity on this for how much you want to allocate, because we would like to allocate, obviously, travel fund budget for Collab Summits in the event, and also diversity scholarships for the event as well. So.
Okay. I'm adding community funds to the list here, but just so we know, the next open slot is February 22nd, which feels already pretty far into the year for that sort of work. I don't know. I guess it's all right. Any thoughts?
We do have some work on that done already. Is it currently blocked on future work, or is that
The community fund work?
like, is the community fund currently blocked given what we have?
I don't know if it is. Robin?
I don't think there's any block. I think everyone, I love, if you go to the issue, I love the outline and how the budget would be spent, but I think this group needs to decide we want how many dollars you want to allocate toward each category, or if you want to take it on a.
I think Jory and I actually, there is, maybe it's
Is there?
not in that Google Doc there, but like Jory and I spent a time during one of the working sessions, and I know there were some numbers.
Oh yeah, was that a HackMD? Where I remember that too, Michael.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to.
That would be great.
That would be great. So let me look at the CPC, the previous. I don't know where to find such a thing.
Wondering if.
Particularly if people want to start making plans now for June for the event, it would be great to have that in place.
Yeah, I'm trying to find collaborative notes. Community fund working meeting notes changed a month ago. Let me share this. That's the HackMD file, Michael, Robin, everyone. This is from a working meeting on November 30th. Tierney, you were there as well. And yes, this was actually we did great work on that meeting. I think there was still work to be done, but we did really kind of try to break things out more.
Yeah, I think we were thinking of having a separate repo for it. These were like some of the headings that we would see in the repos, and like the eligibility, writing out the eligibility criteria, our guesstimate budgets, how do you apply, who the approvers are.
Yeah.
So we just put in some numbers, right? Like, but it would be good at the beginning, the good time at the beginning of the year to say, okay, let's actually close on what we think those will be, right?
You're saying we need eligibility criteria. That's something I'm sure we can get either from the Node Foundation prior or the other LF foundations. We could probably adapt.
Things for like the travel fund, I think we have that, right? But like for say the scholarships, we would need the same kind of like, okay, well, how do you apply? Who's eligible? So yeah, if we could pull some of that from there, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
There's nothing in here that's private, right? I'm going to add this HackMD file to the list.
Yeah.
I mean, to the issue. All right. I mean, in a way, this could sort of be incorporated into the repo work a little bit, because that's part of the part of the ask here, the tasks.
I guess I'd also feel this one is something like it'd be good to get a little bit better defined, like at least like Robin was saying, some numbers for the beginning of the year so that people start to apply. We have it documented in how we
yeah, I mean, we have numbers that we were, throwing around, but yeah.
So yeah, like, I mean, if we made this, then the next, we could like, maybe this one should be the next working session, and then the technical strategy can do the one after. Like the repo cleanup, I kind of think we can do when we have something that's not pressing, right?
I agree. Okay, I'll make those changes to the schedule.
And I could see the goal of this one being like, the goal out of that meeting is to actually create the repo that has some of the info that we have. And then, even if there's gaps, that would then let us start PRing in bits and pieces versus having a doc that we are like, where did that doc go again?
Yeah.
And I know Brian was working on the operational side too, on how to, once you have somebody authorized to accept and pay out, to make that more of an agile process as well.
Yeah, he had a good proposal for that somewhere, but then, if we had a repo, he could then start PRing that into the repo.
Yeah.
Cool. I added the updated schedule to the meeting notes here too. So community fund will be next working session. Tech strategy will be the one after that on the 25th of January. Clarify requirements around COC violation would be the one after that on February 8th. And then repo cleanup would be February 22nd. Like Robin said, we could work on the repo cleanup sometimes too, if we have a light agenda and want to just take advantage of the time. So
I'm just going to update the description there to make sure we remember it's like not thinking of new ways, but like documenting how you apply for the ones we've agreed already.
Yeah, that sounds good.
We're further ahead than we thought.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I was listening to some band rehearsal recordings recently and realized we had worked on a song and it sounded great. And if we hadn't recorded it, I would have forgot everything. Anyway, that's our whole jam. That's our agenda and our working session stuff. We have 17 minutes left. Do we want to continue hanging out and work on repo cleanup or any other things? Any prep for any of those working sessions or anything?
I'll make a plug. Program committee is on Thursday for the event. Would love you all to participate. Would love to have some of our project reps participate. I know that's a little bit harder to attend meetings, but once the CFPs come rolling in, that's something where you don't have to attend a meeting, but it would be great as all of the CFPs come into a spreadsheet for y'all to sort of help, help take the
Is,
review.
is it also an opportunity, the program committee meeting, to perhaps discuss like Collab Summit thoughts?
Yes,
Or,
absolutely. Because it's been a while since we had an in-person, and I was pretty new. So just thinking about what's the best way to tackle that is going to be big.
And what's the overlap with TC39? Is that happening there then too?
TC39, they have their own designated space. They meet, I mean, Tierney or in Jordan, you know, over 4 days,
Months.
3 or
Oh,
4 days. Yeah. So they have their designated space. We're also having the CD Foundation and GraphQL Foundation are co-locating with us, and they have their own space, although we'll be sharing the thought leadership keynotes as well. But the cool thing about the conference is you can buy one ticket and you can go to any event that you'd like. So
my question is though, how does TC39 overlap with the week's events? Is it on the same week? Is it during the
same
talk?
week and same time, actually?
That's rough.
I know it was something that I think
challenging.
The team had decided that that's what they would do. I'm not sure exactly what hours they're structured, but definitely they'll be able to take advantage of the social activities in the evening, hallway tracks and things like that.
I guess I more mean that's rough because the people who are doing both will probably choose TC39. Like I'm going to go to TC39 over docs.
And it's 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So that's basically the whole day.
Yeah.
That's rough.
And I think we're counting 50 max on TC39.
Yeah.
People wise.
I mean, I think it's hard to predict, but pre-COVID, we were getting up above 60.
Okay.
And there's more people that have joined since then. But excuse me, the likelihood that all those people will show is probably different.
Yeah.
And collab summits would be on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
So is TC39 Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? So there would be an overlap on the Thursday as well with Collab Summit
I believe it begins on Monday. We also have training on Monday. We have confirmed Node.js training with Dave Clements, and then native script training as well on day 0 on Monday.
Okay. Is TC39 starting on Monday that week? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. At least it's not overlapping with Collab Summit.
Let me double check because
I had thought that's what Rob had said. I think we blocked it the whole week for y'all.
It says the 6th through 7th, 8th, and 9th. So I don't have my calendar in front of me.
6th is Monday.
Then Monday through Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So Monday through Thursday, TC39 meeting. So it will overlap with Collab Summit on Thursday and Friday. Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot in a week. That's wild.
Yeah. And I think we're thinking that the project collab summits would be Thursday, CPC collab summit Friday morning. So people can leave by noon and fly home.
Yeah, but I would think the projects would be good to do on Friday. So that's folks in TC39.
That's what I'm wondering too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also usually the Node Collab Summit has been 2 days itself. And we have taken the full 2 days, usually there is a person or two who will fly home by noon, but that is not the structure that the project has used really.
Okay. Space is there. So
yeah.
And if you want to even tag on a Monday, you can even do that. So
yeah, I mean, I think historically, I could be wrong on this, but I thought we've gone into Saturday once or twice even, but I could be wrong on
We
that.
wouldn't leave a gap. Definitely,
Yeah.
we've gone into the weekends, I think, though.
Yeah.
In Montreal, it was my only experience. I think the event started later. I think Friday, Saturday was the Collab Summit days. So that's why it was a little, yeah.
I think that's how we've always done is Friday, Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Are we saying that we think we need a Saturday, an extra day?
I would have to look at the schedule, but I mean, I know Node can fill 2 full working days just doing Node.
And one of the things that was nice about the sort of OpenJSing of the Node Interactive was that TC39 and the Collab Summit. At the Node.js Collab Summit, we got more TC39 people there, and I thought that was great. So the fact that TC39 is happening until Thursday, it might not be bad to have Friday and Saturday for Collab Summit. I don't know, for the Node.js sessions at least.
Mhm. I'll check into space Saturday.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. Well, let's keep that on the radar because I think all of that overlap and how we best manage that is important.
Sounds good. If we wanted to spend some time looking at the technical strategy stuff we'd written up, we could use the last 15 minutes to do that. Or I guess we're down to 10 minutes, but I don't know what people think about that.
I'm open to it.
Okay, now I don't know if we want to stop the stream because I know we were just trying to give people a chance to see some of it before we push the
Let's do that.
Mhm.
If anyone's watching, thank you. See you next time.